Well, I thought overall it was a great way to end our non-conference. Good way to go home for Christmas break and have a little time off. Had a lot of young ladies who had a chance to compete and play a lot of minutes for us and continue to grow and develop. And, we certainly believe that that will pay off and help us in the future. So good start for us. Now we have a few days where we're going to try to relax a little bit, have our players enjoy time with their families, and then get back and get after it pretty quickly right after Christmas.
Questions?
You guys, it's a very interesting non-conference slate you played. You played a few teams that are mid-majors that are probably going to be in the tournament this year. There's also some teams that you beat up pretty good. I think you had 350-plus wins. When you look at your non-conference schedule, what are the pluses and minuses in your mind of what you learned and what you kind of feel like maybe you still need to work on?
Well, I think we've seen some different styles of play, and that certainly is important. We've only had one opportunity to be on the road, and so that's something that now our next game, our first game after Christmas, is on the road, so that's something that's a little bit unique about the schedule that we had this year. And so I do think it was a non-conference schedule that we learned and we grew a great deal through and hopefully have some confidence after it. But at the same time, even during today's game, we talked during the course of the game about how it's going to be different in Big Ten play and the physicality and how we need to make some of the adjustments, and even that would help us in this game and what that looks like. And so I do think that was different, obviously, when we played against Purdue than some of the teams that we played in the non-conference.
Heading into Big Ten play, depth, obviously, such a big deal. Do games like this allow you to develop some of that? I mean, I think of Maggie in particular.
Absolutely. I think Maggie, as you pointed out, had a very strong game. I thought she played really, really well. I think she shot it 3 times from the arc, which is probably about a third of how many times she shot it all last year. So that's important for her because she's someone who we have a lot of confidence in her ability to shoot it and make things happen and rebounds at a high level, and was someone who we had handling the ball against pressure today, which is something a little bit new for her, and I thought she did a really good job with that. Janae Sanders is someone who I thought continues to grow and develop and make things happen, and she certainly has played quite a bit for us. But there are a lot of players who we know we're going to need to have them be ready to play. And so having games where they can get more on-court experience, because ultimately you can do it in practice and you can watch it on film and you can see your teammates, those type of things, or you can experience it in practice. But when you experience it in a game and you're like, okay, now I understand that that's not my assignment. That's not where I was supposed to help from. We weren't supposed to give that up. Now I get it. When you see film of yourself, it does make a difference. And so I think that's really important for us.
It's probably because her sister was here wearing a Gopher sweater.
So it was. That's pretty cool. Yeah. That's pretty neat. I wonder if she will next week.
The defense has been really good all non-conference, but how have you liked it over the progression of the entire non-conference schedule as you head into Big Ten play?
Well, I think we're learning about ourselves and how, and even today, there are times that there's some things we saw today that we haven't seen, like a certain action or certain set that we didn't defend at a very high level. And so I think there's still so much for us to learn, because again, until you see it in game action, you can watch it on film, you can even go through it. But I thought today we did a good job of making some adjustments as time went on. And as you're playing more players, then more players have to see it and then be able to get in the game and make those adjustments themselves too. And I thought we did some of those type of things during the course of the game, which is going to help us. I thought that was important for us. But we still have a long ways to go in order to understand. Even today, there was a certain set that one of our players called out what it was. It's not what they call it, it's what we call it, that type of action. But then she didn't guard it exactly how we wanted to guard it. And so I kind of laughed. I'm like, well, she understands what they're trying to do, and she's telling them what they're supposed to be running, even though it's how we call it. But we didn't guard it correctly. And so there's an understanding, and then there's an execution piece. And there are times we understand better than we execute still.
How have you seen the development of this kind of newer team from the start of the season up until now at the end of the non-conference? Just a bunch of new players and new faces kind of adapting to this new program.
Well, that's a great question, because I think there are times during the course of the game I have to remind myself, or in practices, okay, that's something that a freshman typically does. Well, my kid's a freshman. That's something that a freshman typically does. Well, this kid's also a freshman. And so we have a lot of, and not just a freshman in terms of years of eligibility, but also a freshman in this is something that is new. So I think there are times that we miss assignments, and you're going to. You're never going to be perfect in all the things that you're doing. But what we're seeing is that, again, like that example, we're understanding what it's supposed to be and what we probably should do, but we don't always do it that way quite yet because we haven't had a lot of those reps in doing those type of things. And being in games and seeing it makes a big difference.
Knowing you're going on the road and facing a ranked opponent, how much does it help to have maybe a couple extra days coming off of that holiday break?
Well, it's going to be important for us when we get back that we get right after it and we get, get up and down the court and get ready for the speed and the physicality and those type of things. And, ultimately, I don't know what we're going to do in that game or how we're going to play, and we don't have a game plan to get ready for it because we're not at that stage of the game yet. But it is good for us to have some time to kind of get our legs under us first and then get back to hopefully playing at a high level.
Today, 29 threes, hit about 41%, which you'll probably take any day of the week. You average about 23 a game so far this year. Is that where you want to be? And I think is that maybe one of the things this team has shown that can come from a number of different players?
Well, I thought today we did a very good job of understanding. We got out in transition and we created a lot in transition. And we want to have our players be aggressive and recognize and make good decisions with it. Whether that's attacking the rim, whether that's moving it, the one more pass, whether it's inside out, whatever that looks like. But I also thought we did a good job in some of the double scenarios, even in a half court, of moving it to kids and finding kids. And then what we've been really focusing on this week is when you get it kicked out to you, you've got to be ready to shoot it. You want to be ready to shoot it and take advantage of those opportunities. So is that number 23 around the number we want to be at? I think that's ideal. There are times, even when we went overseas and we played, I think one of our first games, I think we were close to 40. It's a little high. Like that. And there are times against certain teams that maybe we want to attack inside a little bit more. There are certain teams that try to take it away and take away arc shots, and so you want to be able to have the ability to score it in different ways. I think recognition and understanding when to shoot it is important for us, and I thought today we did a pretty good job of understanding and taking good shots in a lot of those scenarios, and we had a number of players shoot them. Today, Janae shot a transition three, which isn't something she's been overly comfortable doing yet, but it's something she has to get comfortable doing, and I thought that was really good. And Maggie hunted some shots, and Jock came in and took some shots, and we know that Mara and Gigi and we know that Mal are going to hunt shots. That's a big part of their game. To see Amaya shoot one early offense is really important for us moving forward, and not that every game those are the same type of shots, right? Or whatever the score of every time of the game is at that time to shoot it. But I thought today we did a good job of understanding when and attacking and taking good shots.
Good.
When you have such a big lead over a team, what do you tell your team in huddles and during timeouts and such?
Well, we're focusing on certain aspects. I thought we missed some defensive assignments. We missed their leading scorer coming off of ball screens, and we slid underneath, and we shouldn't slide underneath at that point in time, or a handoff scenario, or maybe how we want to attack. And so just kind of looking at kind of some of the execution of what we're looking to do is really what we're talking about at that point in time. Awesome. Thank you. Enjoy. See you after Christmas. Or New Year's, whenever we see you next. One of those two.
Maggie, your first career double-double, how did that feel today?
I mean, it felt really good. It was fun being out there with my teammates. Yeah, it felt good.
Was it weird or strange or anything, just coming back from the break to playing a full game of basketball today?
A little bit. We've also been prepping for a while. We got to work on just ourselves for a while without scouting another team, so that was pretty refreshing. Last couple of days were of scout, but it was a good little break, and then now we'll get a break with families and be back at it for conference play.
Yeah.
What, when you only play you're going to be ending up playing just 2 games in 2 plus 3 weeks. When you've had the break, what do you get from a game like this where you beat a team you're supposed to beat by a lot, which you're supposed to do? What is the biggest benefit?
I think just the fact that we had so many girls that got to play today, That doesn't, obviously with conference coming up, it's tougher. So just to have everyone have that confidence going into these tougher games is really important for us, and just to have everyone on board and feeling good.
Yeah, and I think just being able to focus on us, say like what Mara said in these couple practices that we had, being able to focus on us is really important and not always scouting for another team. So even though we have 2 games in 2-3 weeks, I think it's going to be really beneficial for us to come back.
I mean, developing the bench is a big deal as you head into the Big Ten, right?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
When was the last time you played, 16 minutes?
No, it was fun. Yeah, we came out knowing we were going to fire right away and try to get ahead, just so we could get everyone in. It's fun to be able to cheer on your teammates, and they do so much for us and the tougher games. So it's fun, and it's just fun to watch other people succeed.
How big is it having that bench depth and heading into Big Ten play? How important is it going to be for you guys moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, the bench makes all the difference, not even if they're on the court or not. Just bench energy can elevate a game so much. So giving confidence to those girls going into Big Ten play, and including me, is really important.
What do you guys work on in practice to have such an outstanding defense?
Fundamentals.
Yep.
Coach P is really big on the fundamentals and slowing things down, and that's been a big thing for, I think, all of us, is her slowing the game down for us.
Yeah, we'll watch a lot of film, we'll watch little clips, and then we'll translate it into a drill, and then we'll do the drill, and then you'll go into a live play. So it's really broken up just so we can get really good at one thing, and it'll all come together eventually.
It'll be a while, but you're going to play a pretty big game in about 9 days. I'm sure your parents have made that trip an awful lot.
Yeah, they have.
I mean, what do you guys look forward to most about that matchup?
I think just playing good competition. We know Iowa's good. We know they're a very skilled team, and I think that can really benefit us going up against really good competition and seeing what we can do and competing in the Big Ten.
I think the environment will just be really fun. Obviously, Carver Hawkeye is a tough place to play. They sell it out every night. You see them selling out arenas anywhere they go. Obviously, it's sold out when they come here. So just what they've done for the women's basketball in general. Obviously, Caitlin Clark has done a lot too. So we're excited and we'll be ready.
You know, you're trying to create that kind of environment here. You talked a lot about that when you guys came here. I mean, just playing in that kind of arena where it's packed, I mean, how much of a juice does that add to things?
Yeah, I think right now, we're getting the sold out games when we're playing like UConn and Iowa. So I think eventually working towards people just want to come watch us, and that'll take time, and we know that. But I think we're on a really good track right now, and we're playing hard. I think people are enjoying to watch us play. So just to keep that consistent and just hope that people keep coming.
Are you guys ever able to feed off the energy from an away crowd?
I would say absolutely, because a lot of the times when a place is sold out, all you hear is screaming and all you hear is noise. So even if it's your shot, little kids are going to be screaming. So feeding off of any type of energy is really important, especially at away crowds.
I think you guys had 3 of your program's biggest wins ever in this preseason. I mean, when you're done playing preseason ball now, what do you think was the best thing about the non-conference slate? And I mean, what do you think you got out of it?
Just confidence with this group, this young group, new group, obviously. A lot of these girls haven't even played in a Big Ten game. Purdue was the first one for a lot of people. So just understanding that we can do this, we can hang with these top teams. And I think we're going to show a lot of people this season. And I think we're all playing with a little chip on our shoulder.
And I definitely think just repetition under Coach P and her plays and how she facilitates things is really important before going into those big games, and just getting our feet under us and getting really comfortable with that.
Maggie, your sister was here today, watching today. Speaking of Iowa, how was it to play in front of her and have a game like this in front of her too?
Yeah, I didn't think she was ever going to be able to watch me this season just because she's playing in Budapest, but she kind of surprised us about a week and a half ago and told us she was coming home. So it's really special. It's really special to see her in a Gopher sweatshirt. I've not seen that in 5+ years. So even when I committed, she was not wearing a Gopher sweatshirt. So it's really cool.
Is she going to Iowa City?
Nope. She is staying home. She is really, really excited to be home for this. I think she has 7 days. So, yeah, she's staying put. I can tell you that.
All right, guys.
You should have taken a picture and put it online.
I did.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I took one. It will go somewhere. Probably my mom's Facebook, but we'll get it somewhere.